Hey YouTube, it's Alexi Giovani and welcome back for another in-depth look at some of the things we might have missed in all the excitement for the Animal Crossing Direct event on October 15. In a previous video, I'd gone over some of the stuff that you might have missed of what's expected in Animal Crossing New Horizons' massive update of 2.0. Since then, there's been even more that has come to light, so thank you all for your input and comments on things that we might have all missed. If you did miss it, I'll leave it linked at the top right and along with the description below. So having said that, let's get into it. The one thing that's bothered me since I've been playing the game is the inefficient way of getting things in and out of your storage. One was the fact that it had to be done in your house, which often isn't necessarily close to the shops or the airport. Second is the fact that you have to go through that painstaking task of choosing one item at a time. You would have seen that we get a detached storage shed, which in theory gives us easier access to stuff without going back into the home. But did you happen to notice that you can multi-select for putting things away? This is game life changing. We've seen this interaction at places like the museum with Blathers and in Nook's Cranny for the Timmy and Tommy Bros. The other thing to think about is, does each human island resident get access to their own? Or do we craft or buy this one at various convenient locations around the island? I for one 100% will put this by the airport for frequent flights of hoarding and my recent exposure to treasure islands. Check the linked video if you're not up with what a treasure island is and how to get to them. And let me know in the comments, where are you thinking of placing your storage and what's your take on them? Let me know in the comments below which of these storage capacities is right for you. Feel free to use the emojis on screen to let us know how much space you want. I'm definitely best fit for the top storage of 5,000. Thanks to Mr. SparkX in the comments for this one. If you missed this, you'll be able to see Tom Nook gives us 4 house shapes, which are the exact same options as what we get when we look at the Happy Home Paradise. But the resort does tend to give us a lot more options. Does that mean if we play long enough we'll get different house shapes to customize with? We are now expecting the ability to cook, which Nintendo did showcase new veggies like potatoes, tomatoes, carrots, along with wheat and sugarcane. They did also say that you could grow other things. But if you focus on the selection here, you'll notice that there is a category called Savory, and what could only be described as a dessert one right next to it. And if you missed it on the 10th round through, you'll notice that we do get a sneak peek into other things that you can cook with, including mushrooms, which we've had up until now. Apples and other fruits that we've had in the game have an associated to several desserts, so I'd imagine we'd have some sort of desserts that we're expecting. And if you focus now what we currently have versus what we're going to have, you'll notice that there's this new section, which looks like it's a combination between what we know currently as craftable to what I suspect will be cooking. Let's have a look to see what crops might look like in your pockets. It looks like the crops, like existing pumpkins, can be stacked into groups of 10, but did you notice the drink icon there? Let's have a deeper look at that for a second. How many times have you seen villagers walking around the island with things that look like this? Whether it's a sandwich or a smoothie. Let me know if this jogs your memory. We covered off gyroids in the last video and what it might entail. These little creatures can be unearthed after rainy days, and if any are fragments, can be watered to grow them some more. Take note of that steam coming out of that packed hole. However, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but not only can you customize these adorable little things, but you can put them on shelves. That's an amazing addition to the game, which means it gives you more horizontal surface area. And coming out of your walls means it gives you a completely different dimension. In Happy Home Paradise, you would have seen, and if you didn't, take note of that corded off section that is pretty much designated for this villager to work within. So you do have spots around the resort that you can pick and choose which villagers will live where. But the cool thing about it is that it looks like it will be well beyond the 10 villages that we're used to on our regular island. And if you have a look at the sheer number of people that are in these shots, it's hard to believe that there isn't going to be more than the 10, because to get that number of villagers all in the one place to give this sort of sense of community doesn't make sense. So I'm really excited about that aspect. It's highly likely that we won't necessarily be able to invite them from the resort back to our island, but wouldn't that be cool if we could just invite someone there and then wait for a bit of a overflow with someone in boxes? I'd mentioned in the last video that Series 5 of the Amiibo cards would not only include the currently hard to get villagers like Raymond, Sherb, Judy, Dom, but we're also getting 16 on top of these, including the last 8 of the series, which are from the Japanese original version of Animal Crossing, and I'm going to say this wrong, Dobutsu no Mori, which some say was the very first version of Animal Crossing on the Nintendo 64. This was only ever available in Japan and was later released on the GameCube to the world. Thanks for the heads up, Jen. Well, that brings us to the end of this particular video. So this is Alexi Giovani signing off, and until next time, see ya. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll also leave a couple of videos for you to check out whilst we wait anxiously for this release.